What it do, baby? Episode 10, Axis of Combat. We here, boys. What? It's your boy, Ray Boogie, my partner in crime.
Hugo the boss. Hugo still got that denim. Hugo, you already know. Love you all.
Yo, you know what I'm saying? The denim. Right here, your boy's rocking the Sean John. Damn. Sponsor me. Like always, kid. You feel me? Yo, episode 10. This is special for us here because, you know, we never thought we'd make it. Been through a lot of trials and tribulations. But we're here, baby. We're here. And since we're here, do us a favor. Like, comment, subscribe. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, Apple, Google, all that. Know what I'm saying?
Now, you know, time to recap last weekend's fights. My brother did not have a good night, which I feel very unfortunate about. He will go through his bets, then we'll go through my bets, and then we'll go through the bets that we got wrong cumulatively. My brother, he bet on Daniel Zellhuber. I also bet on Daniel Zellhuber.
Actually, hold on, no.
Yeah.
That's
Here you go. Yeah,
that's a banger. Hold on.
Like, what's going on?
That's my only win.
Yeah. We both bet on Jillian Robertson. He bet on Tanner Bozer. Clay Guida.
Don't laugh at me, man. Laughing at my pain.
Gutierrez via decision. Allen. And his parlay was Algio and Gutierrez money line straight, which fell apart because Gutierrez lost to Pedro Munoz in the most embarrassing fashion.
Damn it.
Now to go through mine, outside of Zellhuber and Robertson, which I also made with my brother. I made a bet on Holloway. I picked Jacoby and Mirzakhanov to start the round 3. I made a parlay with over-unders on rounds. Edwards Pudilova over a round and a half. Munoz Gutierrez over 2.5. And Holloway Allen over 2.5. That hit. And my only loss in MMA last weekend was Gutierrez via decision because he's a habitual line stepper. He might be dead to me, guys. He might get faded.
I wouldn't say he's dead, but god damn, bro. Like,
he gets touched on the chin once and then he like, yeah, I'm just going to keep it safe for the rest of the fight even though I'm losing. But
I guess that was a bad read.
It is what it is. But the other bets that we got wrong, we got Joe Joyce, unfortunately.
I thought the pain was done.
We had him from round 7 through 12, and then we had him via decision. Now, the via decision and the round 7 through 12 was more of a hedge bet. We put half a unit on Joe Joyce from 7 to 12 because we thought that was more or less the likely outcome. But the decision prop was so juiced. It was at plus 460. We were like, hell with it. We'll put a quarter unit on it just to balance things out, just in case it goes the distance, and then we could recoup our money. Unfortunately, both of those didn't hit because he gets stopped by a 40-year-old heavyweight who has a terrible gas tank because his eye swells up like a balloon. But, you know.
It was the risk. It was the risk.
It is what it is, man. I mean, I'm not even... to say I'm disappointed is, you know, it's not even the word, but...
Hopefully you guys didn't follow me, because if you followed me... But if you tailed my brother...
Payday. You want payday.
He had a very good night.
Yeah, guys, listen. Neither one of us is going to be perfect. He's going to have bad nights. I'm going to have bad nights. The idea is to win more than you lose. And on this podcast, we have done just that. So, you know, like I said, you don't got to know shit about MMA or boxing. But if you tail us, for the most part, you're going to make some money. So it's a beautiful life. Now, on to this weekend's fights. Big fights this weekend, particularly in boxing. So sorry for the MMA heads that follow us. But what do we got this weekend for boxing, my brother?
Ooh, probably the best fight of the weekend.
Probably?
Well, yeah, it is.
It's the biggest fight this
Let me not cap. Ryan Garcia, Gervonta Tank Davis. God, this fight is exciting. Let me ask you something. Who do you got? because I want to hear your thoughts first.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. So
wait, hold on. Do I need to prepare?
Nah, yeah, well, just a little bit because there's a lot of things in this fight. This fight is a little scary to bet on. And
100%. And to be honest,
yeah, the lean's got to be Tank, right? There's no, I don't think there's like, it's a travesty in me saying that. I think I can also back it up with factual proof why.
Nah, I wouldn't say it's a travesty. I don't think you're wrong for leaning Tank.
Right.
I think I'm also leaning Tank. I've been kind of going back and forth with it, but I think Tank's probably the side.
Yeah. I will say, so I did some slight film study on this, and it's stuff that I kind of noticed as I watched Tank fight in particular, and Ryan. Ryan, the one thing, let's go through their positives first. Tank, amazing fight IQ. Great footwork. Knows how to deal with bigger opponents. Historically has always fought bigger opponents. Knows how to get inside. Has tremendous power and one-shot knockout power in both hands. And also has a great chin. Also a dog. Now the positives for Ryan Garcia. Fights big. Very fast hands. Will be the faster fighter in this fight. Big for the weight class. Knows how to sit on the outside. A dog. Straight up a dog. And has decent fight IQ himself. I wouldn't say he has better fight IQ than Tank, but it's close. It's not far. I'm gonna lean Tank in this fight, guys. The issue is that, and the only reason I'm leaning that way, if I'm being completely honest with you, is because Ryan Garcia hasn't shown us that he can stick to a game plan. If he fights Gervonta Tank Davis the same way he fought his last fight, I forgot what the gentleman's name was. That's the problem, though, because and that's the other thing too. Another reason why I'm leaning Tank is because Tank has been the more active fighter. But if Ryan can fight Tank the way he fought his last opponent, where he just fights him big and keeps him on the outside, I could see this fight looking like a lot like the beginning of the Rolly Romero Gervonta Tank Davis fight. Except that Ryan won't rush in. He's going to try and make Tank come in, make mistakes, catch him with the big left hook, and try to put him out. I don't think this fight goes the distance, if I'm being honest. I think someone's going to get knocked out. The only thing I will say is that outside of Tank being the more active fighter, Tank is the more elusive fighter, in my opinion. Ryan is also the more stationary target. He fights big, but he doesn't move around too much. He likes to, stand tall, and sometimes he'll leave his chin out there, especially when he's delivering his offense. What I will say, too, is there's a reason why Tank is making Ryan go through this whole rehydration process where he can't rehydrate past 10 pounds for the fight. Well, for a certain amount of time before fight time.
Yeah, I don't like that. I get it.
I get it because but the thing is that's why this fight is so interesting.
It puts Ryan at a disadvantage.
It does. But Ryan is the bigger fighter here. He is much bigger than Tank. And when fight night comes, you guys are going to see the difference in the ring. Like,
I think win or lose, I think he moves up.
Yeah.
I don't think he stays fighting at what did they fight now? 136?
Yeah, that's like almost like a catch weight.
Yeah.
Which is, so it's weird because it's like Ryan can win this fight, especially if he follows the Rolly Romero game plan without the rush it and get caught and knocked out in the 6th. And I think he can implement Rolly's game plan a lot better than Rolly did because I think he's a much higher fight IQ fighter. He just has a much better fight IQ, right? However, can I trust him to implement that game plan? I'm not sure. He hasn't shown us enough. He hasn't been active enough. And in the fights that he has had to, a legitimate test in front of him, like again, he gets dropped. He's gotten dropped in those fights. So I just feel, that the experience of Tank is going to take over in this fight. The activity of Tank is going to take over in this fight. Ryan leaves a lot more entries for he makes a lot more mistakes for damage to be landed as opposed to Tank. I think Tank is just he's just super underrated in terms of fight IQ, and I think he probably gets it done by knockout. Now, for some of the glaring holes, now you heard me speak about some of Ryan's, some of the glaring holes that I could see in Tank's game that could get him in trouble in this fight. He likes to parry out with the jab a lot to try and interrupt the jab of his opponent. The problem is that with someone with such a good left hook, that can get him into trouble. The other thing that Tank does bad, in my opinion, he depends a lot on his head movement to get out of the way of punches. So when he exits, when you throw a 1-2 combination and you exit, you're supposed to angle out. Tank tends to back straight up. So when you start backing straight up like that, it's easier for your opponents, especially if they're doing counter punches or punching in combination, to catch you. And the thing is, when you're fighting a bigger opponent like Ryan, he knows how to use his reach. He understands how to use space really well. He can catch Tank and he can hurt him because, don't get it messed up. When Rolly was touching him, he was touching Tank, and Tank was feeling because he was fighting a guy that was clearly the much bigger opponent. And I just feel like Ryan can present a lot of that game plan, but 10 times worse because I think he has stronger punching power and he's faster and he's a smarter fighter. This fight is amazing. And, and I'm going to end it with this. No matter who wins this fight, and I just want everyone to listen to this, whoever wins or loses this fight, both should be commended because this is what boxing is missing. Boxing is missing prime young athletes willing to risk it all, risk their undefeated record to fight the next best guy or the best guy within their respective weight class or around their weight class. That's the problem with boxing. These guys are fighting. This is the first time in a long time we've seen two fighters under 30 that are superstars fight each other. Meanwhile, we can't get Earl Spence Jr. and Terrence Crawford in the ring once. There's a good chance these two guys fight 3 times, which it can happen. And this is the problem with boxing. And, just like when people criticize Deontay Wilder, the fact that he had a trilogy with Tyson Fury needs to be commended. And the reason it needs to be commended, even though he arguably lost all 3 fights, even though you could make an argument for the first one being a draw, which it was, you have to give him credit for not choosing to duck Fury even after Fury beat him the second fight. You have to give him credit for just wanting that fight, for turning down money to turn away the trilogy fight so that Tyson Fury could fight AJ or Usyk. These fighters need to be commended, especially in the boxing world, because boxing is a sport at this point that is conquered by promoters that want to protect their pockets and by fighters that also want to protect their pockets because they are afraid to take an L to another gaping challenger. I salute these 2 young men. I really do. I think they don't even need to fight each other right now. They are arguably the biggest stars out of the new kids that are coming up. The Devin Haney's, the Shakur Stevensons. Lomachenko's a little older, but that's all good. The Inoues. These 2 are the biggest stars out of the 2, and they are fighting each other. And I am nothing short of grateful for having been able to witness this weekend. And that's all I got to say about this.
All right, so I'm not gonna be as long-winded as you were, but this is the way I feel. I got chin advantage, Gervonta. Power advantage, Gervonta. Speed advantage, Garcia. And
size advantage,
Garcia. The way I see this fight playing out, right? Ding ding, round 1. I think Ryan knows it. I think Ryan's best chance of winning this fight is getting that Gervonta early. Blitz him, hit him. Don't let him set up. Don't let him think. Don't let him try to analyze you in there. Get at him early. Get at him often. And I think Ryan's got not only the speed but the power to get him out early.
He does.
100%.
This fight is scary.
Now, if he doesn't get him out early.
To bet on, I mean. But.
If he doesn't get him out early, Gervonta's going to download. Gervonta's going to wear him down. And Gervonta's going to knock him out late.
Yeah.
I'm leaning Gervonta because I think Gervonta is going to be able to withstand the early storm that Ryan's going to bring. And I agree with you. I do think he's the smarter of the two fighters. I don't think his IQ gets talked about enough. I'm rooting for Ryan. I have a question to pose you. Who has more to lose?
God, I feel like they both do. I feel like they both do because Tank is this guy, this prolific knockout artist that's fighting guys that are just much bigger than him and knocking them dead. And then you have Ryan, who you could argue Ryan because I think Ryan has the biggest social media following. Ryan is technically the more known face. He's not the more known face in the boxing world. He's not the more respected face in the boxing world, but he has the more crossover appeal. More people that are casuals know who Ryan Garcia is as opposed to Tank Davis.
Well, see, for that reason, I think Gervonta's got more to lose. Because I think Ryan will be okay, win or lose.
That's true.
Only because, in my opinion, he's already got the cards stacked against him. He's got this rehydration clause that he agreed to. He reluctantly agreed to it, but he wanted to make this fight so bad. He said, "Whatever, I'll whatever it takes, we're doing this fight." Ryan, one of the very few boxers who's famous for not winning a belt because of social media. So I think, like, win or lose, I think he's gonna be okay. Sure, he might take a little bit of a credibility hit, but I think he's gonna be able to put on a good enough show in this fight because I think this fight's gonna be really, really good. Where he's gonna earn the respect of a lot of people. I think, in my opinion, I think Gervonta has more to lose because Gervonta is the guy who is supposed to be, he's Mayweather's handpicked guy. He's the guy who's everybody expects to win. If he loses, then it's like, wow, okay, you lost to, because this is like the best fight. This is the best fighter that either have faced. I feel like maybe more Ryan than Gervonta, but I think Gervonta takes a hit if he loses here, because it's just for the simple fact that I think he's expected to win. Right. And the cards are kind of lining up in his favor. He made Ryan bend to a lot of demands for this fight.
Yeah, and listen, I agree. The more you put it that way, I think I agree with you. And I agree with you because it's going to be the idea that, Tank, you got knocked out by it like a guy he's a YouTube boxer. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't want to put it that crudely, but yeah.
I don't think he's a YouTube boxer. I think he's an elite fighter. He just knows how to manipulate social media. He's a good looking dude.
Yeah.
And he's got skills though, man. Don't get him messed up. And listen, guys, just for the dimensions here, Tank is 5'5.5" with a 67.5-inch reach. Ryan Garcia is 5'10" with a 70-inch reach. That is significant. That is significant, man. And that's why Tank is making him do this dehydration close, because Tank knows that this guy is going to come in big. Even with the dehydration clause, he's still going to come in big.
Yeah, and that makes me worried about his chin a little bit as well.
Yeah. Yep.
Knowing that he has to maintain a certain weight even after the official weigh-ins.
Yep.
That's rough.
Yep. But what I will say is, if, like I said, we've seen Ryan get dropped by guys like Luke Campbell, who I know people are saying Luke was a little older at that time, but he still was a champion.
Yeah, 100%.
And he got back up and stopped that dude. So I know he's got that dog in him, but he has to have a performance like he did his last fight, where he just keeps the dude on the outside. And I think his name was Javier Fortuna. Yeah, that's exactly who it was. And just keeps him on the outside. And I guess I could see him implementing that game plan. and just keeping Tank on the outside the whole fight. You know, and the thing is, I know people are saying that, you know,
hey man, if he comes in with a crazy game plan like that, the only thing I worry about with a game plan like that is that, you know, eventually I feel like Gervonta is going to be able to get his way in.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? But can he discipline him with the power? That's the question. Can he discipline him with the speed? That's the question. And
I think he's going to surprise Gervonta with the power.
I do. And you know what's funny? I don't think I don't think he's going to surprise him. I think Tank already has an idea. That's why he's making him do the dehydration clause, because he doesn't want him being a bigger puncher in there. And it's the right thing for Tank to do, if I'm going to be honest with you. Tank is going to be at a huge size disadvantage. And man, it's just such a great fight. And I just salute these guys for risking it all and fighting each other, to be quite frank with you. There's not much more I can even say about this fight. I just think you guys need to tune in. This is going to be a great fight. I think I like Tank as the lean. I don't know how I'm going to bet this fight yet, because I'm still really thinking it over. But what I will say is, if Ryan can stick to a game plan and keep this guy in the outside, and that's the thing too, like that's the other thing we need to acknowledge. Tank gets hit a lot in his fights, man. And it's because he has to work his way in. Now, can he? The thing is, he hasn't been in there besides Rolly Romero, who has been a really big puncher that he's been in there with him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just being honest. So now he has to deal with arguably a bigger Rolly Romero, who's faster, with more technique, and hits harder.
A better Rolly.
Yeah. That's what he is. He's a much better Rolly. A guy who definitely can follow the game plan better than Rolly.
Matter of fact, just comparing him to Rolly is probably disrespectful.
It's a little disrespectful.
It is.
It is. He's a better fighter.
Yeah.
This fight's amazing, and I cannot wait for it. But Tank, I think you agree with this, is the official lean for this fight.
I think Tank's the lean. I think, in my mind, if everything plays out the way I think it's going to play out,
late stoppage.
I think it's going to be a late stoppage.
7 through 12 bet for sure.
I might look at the over. I might look at the 7 through 12, maybe the 9 through 12 if I want to get a little more greedy. I don't know how bad or good these numbers are, you know, how juiced they are, whatever. But yeah, I'm leaning Gervonta. I think it's going to be a very good fight.
Yeah, the over under 7.5 for this fight.
7.5.
Yeah. I think that hits. I really do.
I don't know. I'm worried about Ryan's chin.
Yeah.
I think he can take one, but I don't know how many he can take cleanly that deep.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the one guy that did drop him, right, was Luke Campbell. And if we look at the dimensions of Luke Campbell is 5'9" with a 71-inch reach.
I mean, listen, Ryan can stick and move him. Because like statistically, I was looking this up. Gervonta, lowest output out of any active boxer at the moment.
How crazy is that? And it's because he's a one puncher. Like he counter punches with single shots. So he'll come over the top, he'll slip. He depends a lot on his head movement. I think that might get him in trouble in this fight. It's so crazy. Such a good fight.
So lowest output for any active boxer, but third highest knockout rate.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. He has the touch of death, bro.
Yeah.
The touch of death.
So I could see Ryan, being quick enough to avoid a lot of his stuff. Maybe if he gets aggressive with him, then maybe that goes out the window. But if Ryan decides to pick and prod, use his speed, use his combos, stay in and out on him,
stay outside,
outpoint him.
Yeah, I could see it happening.
That could happen. I just don't know what Ryan is going to show up. I don't know what not that what Ryan is going to show, but what game plan he plans to implement.
And can he keep that game plan for 12 rounds? Can he stick to it?
Because I feel like he's a young dude, and as a young dude, he's probably just gonna want to get in there and try to bang with him. Yeah,
you can't play that game with Tank, man. He's too technical. He's too good. He's good, man. He just knows how to hit you. He knows when to hit you. He knows how to time you out the half beats of your stepping and your 1, 2. He'll get you with 1 and he'll hit you before he gets to that 2. Right in between that half beat with your footwork. So
and I think they both underrated body.
Both of them.
Yeah,
both of them. It's a great fight.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's just such a great fight. And like I said, for our MMA heads, we cannot emphasize to you enough. This fight is phenomenal. And that's why we're giving such a big portion of this podcast to it, because
it's the biggest fight of the weekend.
It's the biggest fight of the weekend. Yeah. It just is. And it's a great fight. It's a great fight.
Very big fight for boxing, very big fight in general. It's going to be a great fight.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Gervonta's the lean.
Yep.
And anything else, we'll update you guys on social media, to be honest.
Absolutely. So what we got, brother?
So we recapped. We got the boxing out the way. Now it's time for UFC. UFC Vegas 71. I think it's happening back in the Apex.
Yes, it is.
Main event. Pavlovich Blaydes.
Is it UFC Vegas 71?
I think so.
These
UFC
numbers
Vegas
confuse me.
71. I think it's 71, if I'm not mistaken. 12 fight card. It was a 13 fight card originally, but Sonya Dong and Ricky Simone ended up being rescheduled to another card.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
And I think they're gonna make that a 5-rounder. It's gonna main event whatever fight night it's on. I think
that fight is fantastic.
because that fight is sick.
That fight is sick.
So it did save me and you some tape study there. But we got 12 fights on the card here. And let's just kick it off. Let's just get to it. You know what I'm saying? All right. First fight. Prelims. Danaa Batgerel versus Brady Hiestand. Danaa the Storm, 12-4, 2-fight losing streak. The Mongolian, training out of New Mexico, going against Brady Bam Bam Hiestand. 1-1 in the UFC. I don't know where he's training out of. 6-2 overall. My lean here is gonna be Batgerel, I think. This one I was a little back and forth on. But I think Batgerel, this is your classic grappler versus striker. Brady, the grappler. Danaa, the striker. I think Brady. Unfortunately, I think Brady this is going to be a little too much too soon for him. Batgerel, he's got hands. He's got hands, and Brady doesn't really have the most solid chin, and I think he's just going to put him out. Whether it's going to be first round, second round, third round, I don't know.
I like you were just thinking, he's like, yo, he's got bits, bro.
He does. He's just like,
he's got bits.
He's a very good striker. Like, and you know, like his first 3 fights, well, not his first 3 fights. He lost to Halatang in his first fight, but then after that went on a 3-fight win streak and knocked out everybody that he fought first round. And then ran into Gutierrez, who he was winning in that fight. They got spinning back elbowed. You know how Mike feels, about Gutierrez.
He was, that's how he looked. That's how he looked against Munoz last weekend, where he was getting his ass whooped, and then all of a sudden he throws some spinny shit. He's lucky it was fighting just Danaa, but Pedro Munoz wasn't falling for any of that shit. So
yeah,
it just didn't work out for him, and there's a reason for it because Chris Gutierrez, he's a habitual line stepper. You know what I'm saying? That's just the way I leave it. But anyway, continue.
And then in his last fight, it was very competitive back and forth with Kung Ho Kang, where he lost by decision there.
Sounds like a Mortal Kombat character.
Now he's training with Alatang, and he's also training. Apparently, one of his main training partners is, what's his name? JSP. So he's been training his wrestling, and I think he should be able to handle whatever Brady throws at him and then just clip Brady because Brady doesn't have the hands that he has. Brady, he's a ultimate fighter. He lost to Ricky Tercios where he got, it was a good back and forth, but it's like Ricky Tercios. Like, Ricky's all right.
He's mid.
He got clipped a couple times by Ricky. And Fernie Garcia put Homeboy on his ass. He ended up winning that fight too, but I don't know. I just feel like I think this is just an example of too much too soon. And I think I'm gonna lean Batgerel. I don't know if I'm gonna bet it, but that's my lean at the moment.
Yeah, you want the real, my brother? I couldn't have said any of that any better than you did. We can move on to the next fight.
Oh, perfect.
That was beautiful. I'm with you on the lean.
Oh God,
yeah.
It wasn't beautiful.
It was beautiful.
Oh God. All right. Next fight, we have Priscila Cachoeira versus Karine Silva. Right? Yeah. Perfect.
Yep.
Zombie Girl, Priscila, 12-4, 2-fight winning streak. She's going against Karine Silva, 15-4, currently on a 6-fight win streak, but she's 1-0 in the UFC. This is some Brazilian on Brazilian crime here. And this is one of the rare women's fights where I don't think it goes the distance. I think somebody's going to clap somebody. Who? I don't know. I think Karine is probably the better overall MMA fighter.
Yes.
But I mean, Priscila, man, she's got that dog.
She
got that dog, man, and she will take one to give one. And yeah, my lean is probably gonna be Karine. My bet, I don't know, but I'm leaning death. I'm leaning violence.
Absolutely.
I'm leaning beatings. Brazil is not gonna be happy with this fight. We might lose a Brazilian here.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Okay, maybe not that dramatic, but
in UFC 3.
in a video game.
I'm with you on this. I think Karine is the better overall fighter. She can crack and thump just like Priscilla on the feet, but she has a wicked ground game. Wicked. And I think that's why Karine's got to be the lean in this fight. She might be the bet, so I'm not going to lie to you guys. But I have not decided. I don't know if I want to lay minus 190 on her, if I'm going to be honest with you. But don't be surprised if I do come fight night. I will say that. I want to see how these girls look in the scale, and then I'm going to figure out more or less where I stand with this fight. Karine's definitely the lean.
I was just going to say, I think we should probably wait because
Priscilla misses weight.
Priscilla, she does miss weight. But Priscilla, she's the older of the two, but she's also the bigger of the two.
Yep.
Like Karine, they got her listed here as fighting at flyweight, and this is going to be a bantamweight fight.
Yep.
So Priscilla just might be too much, but I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I would like to see them face off. I would like to see them weigh in and get a little better of a feel there. But I'm with you. I think Karine's the side.
Absolutely. And I think from here, we can move on to the next one. I think that's as beautiful as it's going to get. So.
Oh, God, another beauty. All right, next fight.
Do you see the genius at work? Do you see how I did that?
I forgot we had that one loaded up. That's a banger right there.
That's a great one.
All right. Next fight. We got featherweight fight here. We got Francis Marshall versus William Gomis. Francis Fire Marshall, 7-0, 7-fight win streak. New Jersey boy, 24 years old. Going against the Frenchman, William Jaguar Gomis, 11-2. I'll let you know how much of a fight streak he's on. He's on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9-fight win streak. Jesus. He's from Paris, France, 25 years old. Two young prospects here. I did tape on both these guys. I mean, we did. But what I got out of this is I think Gomis might be the better of the two. The only thing, overall, just like I think he's the better striker. I don't know if he's the better grappler, but I think the grappling might be a little even. The only problem I see with Gomis, because I was originally leaning Gomis, the only problem I see with Gomis is his output. Francis is one of those dudes that he's just going to forward pressure and he throws strikes, man. He doesn't care if he's whiffing or not, landing or not. And I think that's going to make Gomis a little uncomfortable because a lot of the fights I've seen Gomis in, he works best when he's got, a little bit of space to operate because he throws a lot of kicks with his punches. He likes to end a lot of his combinations and kicks. And I don't think Francis is going to give him that kind of space to operate because Francis just fights one way. He's just like unless Gomis could clip him and make him respect the power, I think Francis, he bites down on that mouthpiece, goes in, pause, and pounds, pause. Just goes to Pound Town, and I think he's gonna make Gomis feel uncomfortable. They're gonna exchange. I don't know if this fight ends via knockout or submission or goes to decision. I am leaning maybe over 1.5, maybe. Maybe. I don't see a finish because of the grappling. And they're both competent grapplers, but Francis is one of those like chain wrestler kind of grapplers. Like he's relentless with it, he's one of those guys who'll throw strikes that sets up his grappling, and he does the grappling to set up his chokes. Because he's very not one dimensional, but that's the blueprint on him. So unless Gomis comes in with a different game plan or can handle the pressure, I'm kind of leaning Francis. But I don't know if I'm going to bet it. What about you?
Yeah, I'm with you on all the points above that you made, and I don't know if Francis should be a -205 favorite. I don't agree with that. I think this fight
is he 205 favorite?
Yeah.
Oof. Yeah. Okay, maybe I won't bet him.
You won't bet this at all. It's crazy. Like I
still kind of like the over.
I don't know, man. This is a fight where I still feel like we're still trying to learn what these guys look like at this level.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying I'm definitively gonna bet it. Yeah. But like, I think give me like a day or two to marinate on it, and I think
you will choose to probably stay away from this fight.
I might just stay away from it, but I do kind of favor the over. Let me correct myself. I do favor the over. I do favor Francis, but I see what you're talking about. Yeah,
-205
on Francis, who I don't think. I mean, like I said, I don't think he's the better of the two MMA wise. Skill wise, I think Gomis is the more polished
fighter.
Yeah.
There's a lot of variables in this fight.
But I just don't think he's going to be able to, I think this is going to be just one of those weird fights where I think the pressure is going to make Gomis uncomfortable. And I think that's going to give Francis the edge.
Yeah, like I said, I will. You make every point you made you've been on point today. Every point you make. Yeah, you're feeling it, man. I'm with you, boy.
Is that Sean John I'm rocking, boy? Come on, throwing it back, boy.
But I will say, like, this fight scares me for a lot of reasons, especially with that line. I'm leaning Francis. I agree with the pressure aspect, but this fight's a big stay away from me, man, especially with him at -205.
Okay.
There's a couple of fights on this card, including this next one.
Well, I mean, listen. Yeah,
and we can move on from the Francis Fire Marshall fight, but this next one is borderline 1-800-GAMBLERS.
Speaking of scary fights, if there was a please seek help kind of fight, why are you throwing your money away? You're better off giving it to a charity or, donating it to some kind of, righteous cause. This fight right here. This is the fourth fight, I think, in the prelims. We got 1, 2, 3, number 4. Yes. As currently constituted. Mohammed Usman, the younger. No? Is it younger or older? He's the younger brother, right?
I think so. The younger, bigger brother.
He is the bigger brother. Pause.
For sure.
He is the bigger Usman.
Hey.
He is going one-on-one with Junior the Juggernaut Tafa. I mean, listen, these nicknames are a little. I don't know if they're gonna. I don't know if either of these guys' nicknames are gonna hold. So Mohammed the Motor. His nickname's the Motor, but my man gasses. Usman. 8-2. 34 years old. He's kind of old. Fighting Junior Tafa, who's making his UFC debut, 4-0. 4-fight win streak. All his fights he's won by knockout. Australian, 26 years old. So he's got the youth advantage here. Oh, man. This fight is...
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Let's keep it a stack here. I know you don't like Kamaru. Right?
I know it's not like Kamaru.
Okay. I'm gonna say it for you. My brother don't like Kamaru. I don't like Mohammed. I think this dude is overrated. I think he's trash. Nah, let me not say that. I'm not gonna call nobody trash because he probably smoked me up. Pause.
Horrible fighter. Horrible fighter.
Canelo said it right. I think he's a horrible fighter. But Junior Tafa made his MMA debut last year.
Yeah.
I think they're trying to give Mohammed. That's why they kind of like got him here buried in the prelims. That he's like the early prelim main event. Like the only, you can only see it on Fight Pass or if you got ESPN Plus, And I still kind of want to lean Junior Tafa here. Only because I've watched a lot of Mohammed Usman's fights. He's got the grappling edge, I would say, because Junior's a pure kickboxer, and he's fought a lot of good kickboxers. So naturally, being a kickboxer, you're not going to have any kind of grappling, right? I mean, he's only, like I said, a year into MMA. But I'm not impressed with Mohammed's takedowns. The very few that I've seen.
I'm not impressed by your performance.
He would rather... the way he gets his takedowns is when from what I've seen, he'll get a lot of his takedowns are when his opponents make mistakes, and then he capitalizes on when their opponents either slipping or maybe overextending a little bit, and then they kind of get into a little clinch exchange, and then they kind of slip. It's nothing that really he does except maybe just maybe brute force his strength on them, but if he gets Tafa down, he'll probably wash him up. But Tafa, I'm spending way too much time on this fight, by the way.
It's just a great fight to tease.
It
is.
I'm gonna lean Tafa. Mohammed Usman's got no kind of. He's got a chin, but I don't think he's got the chin that can hold up to any of Tafa's strikes. And I don't think he's gonna have the IQ to just try to just straight. If Mohammed Usman ding ding round one just bull rushes him, takes him down, he'll win. Don't give Junior here any kind of room to strike at anything or do anything. And I think he wins. But a lot of his fights, he likes to he likes to plot forward with his huge ass and throw some jabs and I think if he does that, I think Tafa might just clean him out early round one.
Yeah, Mohammed.
But I don't have any confidence in this fight at all to bet either way. You should not be betting this fight. That being said, I might find a way to bet this fight. Because I'm a dirtbag. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, you guys know.
If you bet this,
I find ways.
If you bet this fight, call the cops.
Police! Help! Police! Help!
Yes.
Please call the cops. And listen, guys, I'm trying to teach you guys the ways here. When you have a low-level heavyweight fight like this, low-level heavyweights are the most dangerous thing to bet on in MMA or boxing. I'm telling you, because anything can happen. One big shot could change the fight. Mohammed Usman, I think he opened up as a plus 250 dog. I probably would have taken him there just because he has the wrestling application.
Yes.
But if you're telling me you're giving Mohammed Usman a pick 'em, I'm not even going to touch this fight because Justin Tafa, like my brother said, started MMA last year, and Mohammed Usman is not that good. He's just not that good. He was losing every moment of that Zach Puga fight till he caught him. And let's keep it real. Zach Puga's a 205er. He's not really a heavyweight.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure Mohammed Usman should be a heavyweight either. He's kind of like a tweener.
I'm actually surprised that this fight is actually happening at heavyweight because I thought he was also going to cut down to 205.
He probably should, if I'm being honest, man. But you listen, if you pick Mohammed Usman and Justin Tafa wins,
Hey, I'm not surprised, motherfuckers.
and if you pick I say Justin Tafa, that's the brother.
Yeah,
Justin
this
Tafa
is Junior.
Yeah, this
I don't
is
know
Junior.
if they're brothers, to be honest.
No,
I know they're related.
I think they are brothers. Yeah.
Oh, they're brothers, all right.
Okay, whoa. And if you pick Junior Tafa and Mohammed Usman wins,
Hey, I'm not surprised, motherfuckers.
I'm telling you guys, this is a 1-800-GAMBLERS fight.
Yeah.
This is a fight you should probably stay away from. And
It would be a really sick individual to bet this fight.
yeah, and if I'm being honest,
That being said, I think if you just take the plus money.
Yeah, you take the plus money. Whoever comes up as plus money, it's probably going to be Tafa. You take Tafa. His brother, Justin. You reach, I teach. You know what I'm saying? That's my boy right there.
Was that him?
Yeah, that was
That's
him.
amazing.
Yeah, he's the guy that knocked out our boy Parker Porter. You know what I'm saying? And he's Parker Retch, and he taught. You know what I'm saying? He reached, I teach. You know what I'm saying?
Clapped him, boy.
And clapped him on one shot. I mean, all three of these guys, and apparently they have another brother, if I'm correct. They talked about it like extensively, fighting in the garage in the backyard.
Yeah, these guys.
And this is the younger brother.
They're saying he might be the better of both of them. To be honest.
Of course. Yep. And there's a younger one that might be better than both of them.
Yeah, that's the one I was alluding to.
Oh yeah, got it. Yeah. So yeah, I think Tafa's the lean, but guys, this is. Oof.
I'm leaning Tafa for personal reasons.
You need. Yeah. You need.
Don't bet this fight, please.
You need professional help if you bet this fight. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, you really need professional help. You need some form of a therapist to talk you through any voices in your head that might talk you into to betting this fight.
I might have to call that number then. I think.
Call that number.
I might have to.
Please, yeah. I think we spent enough cooking this fight. We can go on to the next one.
Yeah, we'll move on. All right. Okay, here we go. We have another fight here. This is a featherweight fight for the women. A rare women's featherweight fight. And we have Norma Dumont, the immortal Norma. And she's fighting Rosa. Rosa, no nickname. Won her last fight. 28 years old. Who did she beat in her last fight? Lena Landsberg. Yeah, okay. Going against Norma Dumont, who also won her last fight. 32 years old. And who did she beat? Danielle Wolf. Yeah, so, we got two women here that are beating up on 40-year-olds. I don't even think I have the records out. Rosa 16-4. Norma Dumont 8-2. The way I see this fight playing out, I don't know how I see this fight playing out. I feel like both these girls are very similar in skill. I'm gonna lean Rosa. I'm gonna lean Rosa only because I can't trust the IQ of Norma Dumont.
Yeah,
I'm just being honest.
Yep.
If Norma was more consistent, because I think when she puts her head to it, she's probably the better of the two fighters, like on their best days. But Rosa is very good, and she throws a lot of output. Considering, like, it, when she was fighting at bantamweight, she was throwing a lot of output in her fights, and like her last loss was against Sarah McMahon, but I kind of let that one go because one, Sarah McMahon is like an Olympic wrestler. Two, in the third round, Rosa was able to flip her over and start beating her up. So even though she lost by unanimous decision, that third round she put a beating on Sarah, and she kind of she's just a good overall fighter. She's got good striking. She's got decent grappling, just like Norma. But gun to the belly, I gotta go. I think I'm leaning Karol here.
Yeah, I'm also on the Karol train. I think she's the better fighter. The only thing that alarmed me for this fight is that she is moving up in weight. She's naturally a bantamweight. Now she's fighting at featherweight.
To be honest, though,
she's the more skilled fighter by far, though, in my opinion. I think she makes better fight decisions. I think she's more aggressive. I think she goes for the finish. I think she does everything better than Norma Dumont.
I think she's the better striker. I don't know if she's the better grappler. I might have to give the grappling edge to Norma.
Oh, I don't know, man. It's close.
But
it's close. I think she's the better grappler, Karol. But I understand.
But I think I know she's like the natural bantamweight, but I also think that she was a very big bantamweight. And I don't think she's gonna have a problem like making if she decides to move up to 145. I don't know like what this move is, like career wise. I don't know if she wants to permanently move up to 145 or she's just like, doing the UFC a favor, like, hey, we need a fighter for, Karol here. I mean, not for Karol, for Norma. You mind doing us this favor? And she's like, yeah, sure. Because, I hate making that 135 cut anyway. I think she's going to be able to easily make the 145 weight. It could be her new home, possibly, because like I think she's big for 135. She's a little big for 135, and yeah, I mean, I just trust her IQ more. That's at the end of the day, I trust her to do the things that she needs to do to win. Like Norma, like I said, like I think Norma's got the better wrestling, but I think Norma only like leans on her wrestling as a like break just in case of emergency thing. Like, oh, I'm in danger, I should probably go to my wrestling. When I think she should always go to her wrestling.
Yeah. I'm with you there. I'm with you.
But I think Karol's going to be able to outstrike her for sure. And probably just win a nice tough decision, maybe split decision. But I think this probably goes the distance. And I think Karol's the side. Personally, for me, I think she's the side.
Yeah, I just think this is it's still kind of a low level fight.
But it is
to bet on, and
not super low, but it's
not super. It's not low like the last one. No, yeah. Hell no. Like
no,
Big
ain't
Mo,
lower than that, boy.
Nothing lower than that. And
that's under the shoe low.
Like I told you guys, this fight is a pick'em, pretty much, rightfully. And to
this day,
I've told you guys about like low level fights and betting on low level MMA. I think I'm gonna stay away from this fight, if I'm being honest with you. I think Karol is the lean. She is the better fighter, in my opinion. But Norma can definitely pull out the upset. It's not completely implausible, and for that reason, I can't put my hard-earned money on this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, this thing it's a scary fight to bet on, man. It just is.
I agree.
It really is. But our next fight, I think, is very bettable and very parlayable, and I think we should just move on from this one. So,
all right, our next fight here. Rani Yahya and Montel Jackson. Rani, I was going to say the journeyman. He's got no nickname here, but he is a journeyman. 28-10-1. Grizzled, long tooth, veteran of the bantamweight division. Going against Montel Quick Jackson. 12-2, 3-fight win streak. Brazilian versus American here. I'm pretty sure Montel Jackson is the favorite. I'm pretty sure he's a big favorite. And I lean Montel Jackson. I lean Montel Jackson because I think he's going to be able to handle the grappling of Yahya. Probably gas him out because Yahya's an older guy. He is 38 years old. And for bantamweight, that is ancient. So I think, listen, Yahya could do the Yahya thing and get his submissions in because this guy's got every kind of submission under the belt. And all his wins, majority decision. Submission. But Montel's he's big for the division. He's like 6 feet. He's got big hands, pause. He's a big body, pause. Quick hands, solid grappling.
Good wrestling.
Very good wrestling. I think very good defensive wrestling too. So, like I said, I think he should be able to handle at least the random 5 minutes from Yahya. I think if this gets past the first round, I think this is Montel all day. But I think Montel also has the power to just
put him out,
sleep him too. So, problem is he's probably like minus 1,000 and probably unbettable. So maybe bet the unders here.
Or bet the way he's gonna win this fight
inside the distance.
Yeah, I'm with you on this, and I think this fight is it is very bettable, and it's not bettable because technically Montel is kind of an equal opportunity finisher and decision guy, but I just think Rani is small for the weight class.
Yeah, he
could probably fight at flyweight.
Yes,
that's how small he is.
He's very small.
His jiu-jitsu is filthy jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, he's like mini, maybe not Cachoeira, because Cachoeira could put people out with his hands. This guy couldn't punch his way out of a wet paper bag.
Yeah.
He couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He's got no kind of hands. Maybe Damian Maia, but even Damian Maia had knockouts. This guy's a specialist. Yeah, and he's made a living.
Choking dudes.
Just choking. Hey, yo. Putting people out.
Hey, yo. No, but I think And I just think Montel, the only thing that scares me about Montel, he's not active and he doesn't throw a lot of volume. That's the only thing that kind of worries me. But I do feel, especially from Ronnie's last couple of fights, his body and his chin are just so deteriorated at this point.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I don't even know. This fight is like the UFC giving him his signing papers to go home.
I mean, listen, they were trying to line up Rani for
Cody
Garbrandt for the longest.
Yeah.
And we know why, because Cody no love is Cody no chin.
Cody no chin. And if you're doing that, you're setting this up with the guy he's fighting now, Montel Jackson. Like, dude, he's probably gonna knock him out. And I'm willing to take a bet on this.
And I agree with the low volume.
Yeah. I think he's going to stop him.
But I think he has enough volume.
Yeah, I think he needs to just touch this guy once, and he's going to put him up bad.
Yeah.
I really do. I just don't think Ronnie can take shots anymore. The only way Montel could lose this fight is if he fights like a dumbass. And Montel is usually a pretty safe fighter. Like, he doesn't make a lot of mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, he had a grappling fest with JP Buys.
Yeah, but JP puts pressure.
Yeah.
And did he stop JP?
No, I think that went to decision, but I mean that fight gave me the confidence to believe that he could like, be competent on the ground with
Ronnie.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think Ronnie's better than JP, but what I will say is
when it comes to submissions, 100%.
Yeah, what I will say is I think JP is the younger fighter, and if that's what it's going to look like, I'm going to go with Montel to probably knock this guy out.
100%.
I really do. I think, and the thing is, Ronnie's gas is terrible. So if it gets out of the first round, which it probably will, he knocks him out second, third round. I just don't think he's gonna last with him. So I like Montel by knockout. I like him to finish.
Inside the distance is probably decent. It's probably like minus like 120.
Minus 150.
150? That's not bad, I guess.
Yeah, for the knockout.
A little risky, but...
And that's just for the knockout because they don't have this thing for him to finish.
I'd say, well, so I mean, his finish is probably a little more juice, probably like if his
180.
knockout is like at 150, his inside might be like 180. Yeah, 175, 180.
Yeah, I think he knocks him out though.
You could probably parlay that if you don't want to bet that straight because it is a little risky. Only because, like, again, Yahya could just Yahya him and just like, give him that, take him to submission town. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Ronnie hitting him with that Yahya. You know what I'm saying? So. It's possible. It's 100% possible. Yeah. And you're right. Like, he's an equal opportunity finisher. So that's why inside the distance is probably safe. But if the number is juiced and you still want to bet it, probably parlay it. Don't put too much on it. And, that's probably the way I feel about this fight.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's about all at this fight. I think Montel probably finishes him. I will go that far, but we can move on to the next fight.
Next fight here, we're still stuck in the prelims, and we got two old heads here. Not old heads, but we call them grizzled vets in the lightweight division here. We got Ricky the Gladiator Glenn versus Christos the Spartan Giagos. Ricky Glenn here, 12-6-2. Last fight was a draw. Fight before that was a win. He's taking a lot of time off. 34 years old. Fighting against Christos, the Spartan Giagos. Giagos? I'm not sure how to say his last name.
Giago.
2-fight losing streak. We got the Spartan versus the Gladiator. So, I mean, that's cute. The way I see this fight leaning, not the way I see it, but I'm leaning Ricky Glenn here, I think, because Ricky Glenn was able to have a very competent grappling match that he actually took to a draw with, I don't remember his name. Give me a second. Grant Dawson. That fight, he lost the first 2 rounds because Dawson was able to just he took him down easily in the first round, not so easily in the second round. Third round, he was able to out-grapple Dawson and practically put him out.
Yep.
The fight before that, one-punched Joaquim Silva.
Yep.
Giagos I mean, his whole game plan is literally to grapple you to death. And when it works, it works. The problem is like, the level of competition he's beaten. Two guys not in the UFC, Carlton minus Sean Soriano. I apologize. He beat both those guys. Those guys aren't in the UFC no more. Lost to the car close. Made his UFC debut against Charles Oliveira. Lost to him. His last 2 fights he lost. Sarukian, Thiago Moises. I could see the over hitting on this fight. My lean is going to be Ricky. I think Ricky's got the better striking of the two. Giagos has probably got the better grappling of the two, but Giagos don't have the gas tank that Ricky Glenn got. And Ricky Glenn's grappling is more than competent enough to kind of like hold Giagos off, at least until he starts to get tired. And then he probably just wins by decision. I think that's the way I see the fight playing out. And I don't know if I'm going to bet it. Ricky Glenn, I don't know what his numbers are. He's probably juiced, but I don't know.
Ricky Glenn's a minus 155.
155 is probably not bad. I just, Giagos, I don't know how to say his name. I think he's just, I don't want to say overrated, but because he's fought the better level of competition, I think, but.
Yeah. The only thing that scares me is that about this fight is that just as some insight, Ricky Glenn had like a real crazy surgery before his last fight. I think it was his ACL or his leg or whatever. No, it was his back maybe. I think it was his leg.
I think it was his hip.
His hip, yeah, it was his hip. Yeah, once you said it, it clicked.
I think it was his hip. Don't quote me that.
No, I'm pretty sure it was his hip. And it was a pretty extensive one that almost sidelined him for the rest of his career. He was about to retire. And then the last time he fought was 2 years ago, man.
He's been taking long gaps.
Yeah, he just scares me, man. And like, don't get me wrong, the last fight, it looked like he came back like he never left, but it was also against Joaquim Silva. Cap. That was the second fight before he came back. So he fought Joaquim Silva, looked like gone like he never left.
Yeah, because he put him out with one punch.
One punch, and then he had a draw with Grant Dawson where it was.
It was a good fight.
It was a good fight, but it was, I
know Dawson was a little salty because he thought he won that, but he got 10-8'd that last round.
He did, yeah.
In my opinion, because he got practically put to sleep at the end.
He did, yeah, he did. Because and when my brother is referring to is because he choked him and he had a hard time standing up. Like pretty much his coach had to come and help him get up.
Pretty much.
R.I.P. James Krause. You know what I'm saying? Because that was his coach. No longer his coach, But what I will say is that that you could argue that round was a 10-8 because that fight probably should have gotten stopped right there because he was out when he choked him. He had him like in a deep anaconda or a darts, if I'm correct, and he couldn't get up after the fight. He barely could get up.
And that was after a decent amount of ground and pound as well. He just couldn't get off his back. And Ricky Glenn was able to just hold him down and elbow, punch until he just gave him that neck. And then he took that neck. Pause. So I like Ricky Glenn. I think he's just
scary to bet him.
He's looked the better of the two. They're both old though.
Yep.
And could Giagos pull the upset? Giagos got power. I don't know how Ricky Glenn's chin is gonna hold up.
Yep.
So I don't think he's the better striker, but he's definitely the more powerful of the two.
It's crazy, man. This fight might be, even though the line is nice, this fight's a big probably stay away from me because I just don't. It's hard for me to trust two older gentlemen.
Maybe it's a live bet fight. Maybe it's one of those where if you're on the Ricky side, just wait to see if he makes it past round one, and then just look at Giagos's gas tank and the way he's looking. If he ain't looking too good, sprinkle a little bit on Ricky depending on his number. But don't chase this one. This is not an exciting fight. It's probably gonna be a good fight, but not. I mean, like exciting in terms of like enticing. I guess is the better word to bet. It's like it's whatever.
It's scary. Yeah, it's a scary fight to bet. But I agree with you. I think it might be a live bet spot. So, but anyway, we could move on from this. So, because the next fight's a banger. I love everything about the next fight.
Next fight we have to kick off the main card. And this one I've been back and forth on to this day. Jeremiah Wells, Matthew. Man, I was saying his last name perfect before. Semelsberger, right? Semelsberger. Jeremiah Wells, 3-fight win streak in the UFC. 11-2 overall. I think he's actually on a 5-fight win streak overall. Yes, he is. And he's going against Semi the Jedi here, Matthew Semelsberger, 11-2. 11-4. He won his last fight against, give me one moment, Jake Matthews in a unanimous decision. Jeremiah Wells, 36. Semelsberger, 30. Jeremiah, he's been waiting a long time to get into the UFC. So I know, like, he's on, like, this is my time. My time is now. He has to make a run if he wants to make a run. Man, he's got power.
He's a scary guy, man.
Intense guy. You know how them Philly boys be, you know what I'm saying? Intense. And I think, like I said, initially I think I was on Jeremiah. I think right now, as it currently stands, I think I'm on the Semelsberger side. Only because I think Semelsberger is like, first of all, I think this is Jeremiah's toughest match to date. He hasn't fought anybody better than Semelsberger. I think Semelsberger is underrated tough, underrated durable, and also has some pop in his hands. I don't think he cleans out Jeremiah. Jeremiah, yeah, I got to give him the KO edge. I got to give him the power edge. Jeremiah is also got a wrestling background, but we haven't seen it yet. I think we do see it in this fight. I think Semelsberger is more than competent, though. This is one of those fights where you think it's going to end in KO, but I think it probably gets to decision. Because I think both guys are very durable. And I know they can give it, but they can also take it. Pause. And I know I've seen Semelsberger's probably got the better. If I had to bet, I think he's got the better of the two in terms of gas tank. I don't know. This is tough. This one I go back and forth because then now I'm thinking like, but I know Jeremiah's power carries late, and he can probably clip him late too. It's tough. It's tough. This is gonna be a very good fight.
This might be fight of the night, guys.
It could be, honest. And it's kicking off the main card, so they're expecting it to be something crazy. But I think early Jeremiah, late Semelsberger, overall. Oh man, tough. I think maybe betting the over, and I think I might be looking at the overs. I might for this fight. I think this is a sneaky over. I think Semelsberger's got a good enough chin. I'm worried about his output, but I think he's got a good enough chin at least to make it a round and a half. But I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Jeremiah is like, nah, man, I just got this ungodly Thor-like hammer power here, and then he just puts him out. I don't know. It's gonna be good. But I think my gut is leaning towards maybe a sneaky over here, a sneaky over. But I don't know. What do you think, brother?
Yeah, I mean, this is a great fight. That's one. So I just want to applaud the UFC for putting this fight together because it is a phenomenal fight. I agree. Semelsberger is the bigger of the two. The younger of the two has fought the better competition. Both of these gentlemen are extremely durable. Jeremiah, I will say, I don't know. I know he's been in there with Chaos Williams, but Chaos Williams doesn't present the ground threat that Jeremiah Wells presents. I think Jeremiah is probably the most lethal opponent that he's going to ever fight. This guy's coming out of Renzo Gracie, Philly, you know? Like he's got some of the best jiu-jitsu that Semelsberger is probably going to see in the octagon.
I agree with that.
Now I agree with you too, though, on the point that you made that what is it that the wrestling might be mitigated because I think Semelsberger, his grappling his wrestling defense is very underrated.
He's got good MMA wrestling. He's got good MMA.
Very
grappling.
Good. I agree with you. I kind of agree with you on the over because I'm leaning Jeremiah Wells because I think he's probably the biggest, most precise puncher that he's fought. Even though he's not really a precise puncher, but he's more precise than Chaos Williams.
It's gonna be if you're gonna take the over with us. I mean, I don't know if we're gonna take the over. It is a lean, but it's gonna be a sweaty over 1.5 because.
Yeah, the only reason we're not picking under 2.5 is because we can't guarantee you someone's gonna get finished in this fight.
And Jeremiah's also got vicious ground and pound.
Yeah, the last time Semelsberger has been finished was in 2018, and that was in Shogun fights. He got knocked out in the 3rd round of that fight by a guy named Jerome Featherstone. Damn, that dude sounds intense. Featherstone? You know what I'm saying? Like
got knocked out by a Featherstone.
A Featherstone, you know what I'm saying? So, but he's been in there with Alex Morono, Jake Matthews, AJ Fletcher, Chaos Williams.
And like the Alex Morono fight's interesting too because even like he took a lot of he got put on his butt
by Morono, and then he almost flatlined Morono in the last round.
In the 3rd round, he was able to give it to him back.
Bad. It was like if that fight was close to being considered a draw because that round could have arguably been a 10-8.
Yeah.
And, that's what I'm saying. Like, this fight is terrifying to bet on in terms of picking a side. But I think the over is a sneaky over. I agree with you there. I really do. I just think that their ability is going to hold up and it might go over a round and a half. I think the fight also might be slow just because these guys might respect each other's power.
Yeah, true.
I could see that, but I just could also see Jeremiah Wells saying fuck it and just walking forward and just going after it, using his wrestling and then, the same way he kind of did with Blood Diamond. He walked backwards and then he just powered him down. And then the same thing he did with Court McGee. Like he gave Court McGee no respect and just hit him with like a looping, I think it was looping left hand. And it was like the end of the punch. He caught him at the dead end of the punch and flatlined Court McGee, a guy who's pretty durable, even though he's an older gentleman, hasn't been knocked out a lot of his career. So
he turned Court McGee to Dirt McGurk, boy.
Yeah, it was bad. It was a bad knockout.
Yeah,
so
slept him.
We haven't seen Court McGee since. Rest in peace. He's buried somewhere in some desert somewhere. So
he's under the octagon, bro.
Something. But yeah, I think the over round and a half is definitely something I'm interested in playing. Yeah, I really do.
I agree.
But I think that's about it. We could move on to the next fight for sure.
All right, next fight on the main card here, we have Yasmin Lucindo versus Brogan Walker. Yasmin Lucindo lost her last fight in a banger of a debut. 13-5 overall. 21-year-old Brazilian, very young, going against Brogan the Bear Walker. I didn't even know that was her nickname. Lost her last fight to Juliana Miller.
Brogy Bear.
33 years old. She's only 7-3. She's been in the game for a while. And so you would think she would have more fights, but I mean, 7-3, and then her last fight she lost to Brogan.
No, she lost to Julie.
I mean, she lost to Julie.
Who just got dog walked by Macedo.
Which, I mean, that speaks volumes, right?
Yeah, Macedo, a girl, she has good potential, but she was out the octagon for like 2 years. 2-3 years.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy. And she lost to her, and they were just pumping Julie. And yeah, I mean, listen.
I think Yasmin Lucindo's the side here, but she's probably like minus 300, minus 400. And this is her second fight. These girls are both looking for their first UFC wins. I don't know why this is on the main card. I think it's because they expect it to be kind of a banger. And Brogan wasn't the original opponent. She stepped up to take this fight, maybe because she thinks she could maybe grapple Lucindo, but I don't think so, because this girl is kind of dynamic. I like her. I think she wins.
Lucindo's ceiling is so much higher than Brogan's, and I like Brogan.
We know what Brogan is. I think
we kind of know what Brogan is. Brogan is also what, 33 years old. She's not old, but she's definitely peaking at this point.
Yeah.
And I think the girl that Lucindo lost to in her last fight, and she actually put mitts on that girl.
Yeah.
Is a much better fighter than Brogan.
Yeah, and
not to disrespect Brogan. It's just what
if
it
she
is.
hits her the same way she was hitting the
I
other
got you.
Yasmin,
Yeah, Yasmin.
Uruguay, I think.
Uruguay. Yeah, she's filthy. She's filthy.
If Lucindo hits her the same way, hits Brogan Walker the same
she
way,
might pack her up.
She might pack her up.
Yeah, she might pack her up bad.
They would have been packing them up.
You know, so
I don't know. I don't know. I'm assuming if you're on the Lucindo side, maybe it ends inside the distance. Maybe. If you're looking for a bet.
Yeah, because she does stop girls. She's had 18 fights and she's got 10 finishes.
Yeah,
but it's kind of still equal opportunity. She either gets subbed or she loses by decision.
And I don't think Brogan's a finisher at all, right?
Nah, Brogan's not a big puncher.
Like she's got one KOL and one submission win.
Yeah, and the KOL was to Julie.
Yeah.
You know, so she's a safe fighter. She knows how to stay on the outside. She knows how to do her thing, but
yeah, she'd be the reason why the fight drags out. Maybe past over the, she'll be the reason why some overs hit.
Yeah, I think
Lucindo will be the reason why some unders hit.
Yeah. They got this. Yeah, and the over is completely blown out because over 2.5 is minus 250. I wouldn't even consider that just because this is a little bit of a low level fight.
What's Lucindo's money line?
Minus 340, man. I'm staying away from that.
Maybe if you want to parlay her.
Thing is,
I don't think that's a bad.
I don't think so either.
I don't think it's a bad spot.
I think she's gonna win this fight.
I think she does win,
but who knows? But who knows?
Yeah,
who knows? It's still low level, man.
I might parlay her.
Like look how good Bruna, the girl from last week, Bruna Brazil looked, and she got flatlined by Gomis. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you know that's just what it is. It's just low level fighting, and it's you know. Like I said, if you think I'm going to put my money on this,
stupid, I'm not going to let you get the chance.
Not this weekend, not ever, man. I learned my lesson a long time ago before this podcast even started about betting low-level fights, especially low-level women's MMA and low-level heavyweight fights. And I ain't going to play that game, man. I ain't going to play that game. This is a scary fight. And not really. I think Lucindo's going to win this fight, but you know, God.
Hard to predict.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I wouldn't say it's hard to predict.
I mean, the finish. You know, if it finishes or goes to decision.
Yeah.
So it's like.
Yeah, and I just think parlaying her, she can break your parlay, man. She really can. Like I don't want to say Brogan can't win this fight because she can. She definitely can.
It depends. Yeah, I don't know.
If Brogan,
I don't see it.
She could wrestle her, or she can keep her on the outside. You know,
if she wrestles her, it'll be pretty interesting to see.
But the thing is, too, remember, Brogan got stopped in her last fight because of a girl who pressures and wrestles. Lucindo doesn't really do that. Lucindo kind of just throws volume and throws punches. You know, so like I said, this fight might be a stay away from me, just because, like I said, I don't agree with betting people who are like still trying to get a win into the UFC either. There's just so many reasons for me not to bet this fight, which is why I'm going to stay away from it. So, but yeah, I think I'm done beating on this poor fight. Even though I like Lucindo a lot, I think her ceiling's crazy. She's only 21 years old. She's one of the youngest fighters in the roster.
And she might bring something new.
Yeah,
she might bring something new to the table because anytime these young fighters come to their next fight, they always come with something different. Sometimes, you know.
I agree. But yeah, let's move on to the next one.
All right, next fight here, we got Bobby Green going one-on-one with Jared Gordon in lightweight. Bobby Green coming off 2 L's, 29-14-1, going against Jared Flash Gordon, who lost his last fight, 19-6 overall. I think Bobby's the side here. I think Bobby's probably better everywhere, except for IQ. I think, and that's probably why I won't be betting him. And also, he's probably like minus 300. And I don't know if I want to bet Bobby Green at anything above minus 150 if he's a favorite, because he does some of the dumbest things in the octagon sometimes, and you can't trust a fighter with your money when he does wild shit like that. I don't know. I think if I wouldn't blame anybody for taking a dog shot on Jared. I think he's the smarter guy, and he probably wants it more. But I mean, these two old dudes. Jared's from Queens. I like that. I think he got robbed out of his last fight. I thought he beat Patty.
This is number one bullshit.
And so I understand he might be a little salty. So he might come in with a chip on his shoulder. You know, he might take this to the grappling realm. I mean, but Bobby's got good grappling. I don't know, man. But I think, like I said, I think Bobby's probably just a better guy overall. But the problem is, I just can't trust Bobby to win. He should win, but I'm probably not going to bet this fight.
Yeah,
maybe the over hits, but I'm not too sure. I don't know.
I will say I think the over probably does hit. Bobby's not a big puncher, and Jared is extremely durable. I would say the over hits. I think the over is definitely something that we can parlay, especially like the over round and a half. I will have to look into like how much it is because not really offering it right now. But I like Bobby Green in this fight. I like Bobby Green for a couple of reasons. He's the bigger guy. He's 5'10". He's got a 71-inch reach, and Jared Gordon is 5'9" with a 68-inch reach. I honestly think that Bobby's going to be able to keep him on the outside and box his face off. I really do. And the reason being is because the only people Bobby loses to are people who have insane wrestling capability and insane chain wrestling, or guys who are extremely big punchers, like a Drew Dober, right? Or like an Islam Makhachev, who's an extremely good chain wrestler and big. Jared's not going to be the bigger guy. Jared's not going to be the bigger puncher. And Jared's arguably not going to be the better wrestler. It's kind of crazy because Bobby does have a wrestling background. No disrespect to Jared Gordon, man. I like him. I thought, like I said, like you said about his last fight.
This is number one bullshit.
Complete bullshit that he lost that fight to Patty. He definitely won that fight. I lost heavy units on that fight because I betted it live and he was like a minus, I think he was like a plus something, and I put, or like a minus something. It was like a minus 340. No, that's cap. It was closer than that. It was close. It was like a minus two, a little under, or a little over minus 200. And it was the third round. I thought he won all 3 rounds. So I said, yeah, I'll take that bet. I put like a couple of dollars on it, a couple of units. And I wound up losing the decision because, you know, the judges in New York clearly wanted Patty to win that fight.
That fight happened in New York?
I think so. Don't quote me on that. It was the John Blachowicz card, which was, let me double check that. I don't think that was in New York. I don't think that was in New York. I think you're right. My apologies, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, the point is, it's one of those situations where it's like, it was in the T-Mobile Arena. There you go.
In Vegas.
Okay. It was in Vegas, yeah. So, but I just think this ain't Patty Pimblett. You know what I'm saying? I think that Bobby has some of the most underrated boxing. Plus, he fights with his hands low. And not only is that for him to bait a shot from you or to bait you to punch him in the face, but it's also for his takedown defense. That's why his takedown defense is so fantastic. Like he's good, man. He's really good. And I like Bobby to win this by decision just because Jared's a dog. Jared has only been stopped. He has how many fights? I got you right now. He has 25 fights. He's been stopped 5 times. So, and in the UFC, he's only been stopped. Actually, no, he's been stopped a couple of times in the UFC. But look to who? Diego Ferreira, Joaquim Silva, Charles Oliveira, Grant Dawson subbed him. Everyone else he beat Joe Selecki, Danny Chavez, Leonardo Santos. Like those guys aren't pushovers. He even beat Bill Algeo in the pre-UFC, and that's impressive because Bill's got a lot of dimensions on him too. But Bill does not have the boxing or the defensive wrestling that Bobby Green has. I'm sorry. I think Bobby is super underrated. I think Bobby's gonna box his face off. I like Bobby by decision in this fight. I also like the overs on the rounds too as a parlay piece or a straight, but I don't even think we're going to get it straight because over 2.5 is minus 265, which means that the over round and a half is probably like minus 450. So, Yeah, I think Bobby Green by decision at -110 is definitely a good bet. And I think that's the bet I'm going to be leaning.
Yeah, like I said, I don't think I could argue anything you said there. I just
Fight IQ is his only issue. Yeah, I think he does make bad decisions, but I think he makes bad decisions against guys who are devastating punchers and devastating wrestlers, like guys that can chain wrestle off the wall.
Yeah,
Jarrett's not really, he's not really an imposing guy. Like, he's a dog, sure. His jiu-jitsu is pretty good, but he's not like an elite jiu-jitsu world champion or an elite wrestler or a big puncher.
I guess I could see Jarrett. I don't know. Again, like with the chip on his shoulder, bringing like an unnormal amount of pressure than he, more than he usually does. Just because, I think he just wants to win more. But I don't think I don't. Yeah, Bobby's the side. I don't know if I'm gonna bet it.
Yeah, I'm not mad at you. But we could move on to the next one.
I was gonna say we could move on here. Let's see. Co-main event. The co-main event here. Brad Tavares versus Bruno Silva. This is a middleweight fight. Brad Tavares, 19-7. Coming off a L to Duplessis. And he's 35 years old, going against Bruno Silva, coming off a 2-fight losing streak, 28-8 overall. Brazilian. His last fight was against, I don't recall. I'll tell you right now. Jaromir Shark. Yeah, okay. This is another fight where I'm kind of going a little back and forth on. I know Brad is probably the better overall fighter here. Brad, proven talent. Fought a lot of the best guys in the division. Good striker. Good leg kicks, especially calf kicks. Underrated grappler, defensive grappler. But I don't think he's going to need any kind of defensive grappling against Bruno. Because Bruno is a knockout artist. Like I said, he's 22-8. I think 19 wins by KO. I'm still kind of, as crazy as it sounds, I think I'm still going to kind of lean Bruno here for an upset because I'm pretty sure he's the dog. I think, and the reason I say that is because Bruno's a striker, but he's kind of an unorthodox striker. He's one of the very few guys who can say he went the distance with Pereira. I don't think he's ever been knocked out. I could double check that for you right now. Nope, never been knocked out. He's been submitted 6 times. If Brad Tavares decides to grapple him, which I don't really see that happening, but if he decides to grapple him, there's a clear path of victory there. I just don't think he'll take that path. I think this is going to be a striking match. And Brad Tavares did look very uncomfortable against Duplessis, who's also another unconventional striker who puts on a lot of pressure. If Bruno kind of follows that same game plan, or at least a similar game plan where he kind of just out-volumes him, I think he could probably find some moments, knock Brad down, maybe knock him out, maybe win by knockout, maybe win by decision. I don't know. That's just gut feeling. I'm not sure how I want to bet this. I'm not sure if it goes over or under. I don't know. How do you feel, my brother, about this fight? I'm a little conflicted. I think
this fight scares the shit out of me. For a lot of reasons. And for a lot of reasons you said. I kind of like the over here just because Brad Tavares is extremely durable, and I could see him controlling Bruno with the wrestling. He is not a pronounced submission threat, because I think the last time he even submitted anyone was years ago, and he only has 2 submissions on his record, and the only way to really stop Bruno is via submission. Bruno is gonna be killed to be killed. I agree with you. I think he is the lean Bruno, but this fight scares the shit out of me, and it scares the shit out of me because I could see him getting controlled, but I could also see him knocking Brad out. But Brad is durable. Oh God, there's a lot to unpack with this fight, and the fact that there's a lot to unpack with this fight is probably why you shouldn't bet it. But I do like the over. I think the over is the only thing I feel pretty certain on, because I could see Bruno catching him early, Brad surviving the early storm, and if Brad gets knocked out, it's probably going to be late. That's why I would lean on it, late or in the second round, late second round.
I think if Brad decides to unleash, because I think he's got some of the best calf lower leg kicks in the game. If he does that, I think he wear on Silva and probably finish him late or win the decision. If Silva shows up looking anything like he did against Meerschaert, he's probably going to lose because he looked absolutely terrible in that fight. I feel like he didn't want to be in there. I don't know if he had some kind of food sickness, or he looked bad in that fight. He looked really bad. Like I said, if we get the best of each of these guys, I think this is going to be a really good fight. And I'll lean. I'm probably gonna wait. I'm probably gonna wait because I would like to see maybe what they look like on the scales, what they look like going, face to face for the first time, and then probably make my decision there. I think I kind of agree with you on the overs, but I don't know.
I think the overs hit because this guy's been in there. Brad has been in there. He got head kicked by Edmund Shabazi, but it was kind of just a lucky head kick. Like, if they fought again now, how does that fight look? Edmund probably loses that fight, right? Not to shit on his win or anything. You win. But
yeah,
this boy has been in there with Dracus du Plessis and Yoel Romero, and they both could not stop him. And I think Dracus and Yoel are more threatening than Bruno. Not to shit on Bruno. It's just what it is. Bruno does hit hard, man. I'm not going to take anything away from him. He does throw punches pretty straight. He actually did have a competent striking battle with Alex Pereira. I agree with that. I just think if you telling me there's a guy who's been in there with Yoel Romero and Dracus du Plessis and they couldn't pack him up, that I'm going to be shaken up by a guy named Bruno to take this guy out. I think the over is going to hit in this fight. I really do. But if there is any cause for concern for this fight, Brad has been out for a little while, not for more than a year, but about a year. So that's the only thing that scares me. But I also think he went through a war with Dracus. He had a cancel bout with Gregory RoboCop Rodriguez, which would have been absolutely insane. But I think the over hits on this fight, and Brad's durability is crazy. It is insane, actually, and since he's not a submission threat and the only way to finish Bruno's via submission, I think this fight carries. It drags.
Yeah.
I can see them getting dropped and them kind of not knowing what to do. Brad doesn't go for submissions. Bruno hits him, drops him, but then Brad knows how to survive, gets a hold of him, takes. I could see this going so many different ways. But I do trust both of their durabilities and both. I mean, Bruno took shots from Alex Pereira and even Meerschaert. He was winning that fight till he wasn't.
Yeah, it was
close. It was close.
Yeah.
But the damage was.
But Bruno looked bad in that fight too.
And he was still putting mitts on him.
Yeah.
So I agree. I'm gonna wait for the scales because he did look bad in that fight physically. But I like the rounds in this fight. I do like the rounds in this fight. Don't know if I'm gonna be betting it just because they might be juiced. They're not available right now. But yeah, I like the rounds in this fight, and that's all I gotta say about this fight.
All right. Well, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, the main event. We have here Sergei Pavlovich versus Curtis Blaydes. Heavyweight main event here with possible title implications. Sergei, 17-1, going against Curtis Blaydes, 17-3. Moscow versus Russia. Drago versus Rocky.
Moscow versus Russia?
What? Okay.
Moscow versus America.
America. Moscow, Russia versus Chicago, Illinois. And he's not really Rocky. He's more like an Apollo. But
yeah.
but he don't got the hands. He's got the grappling.
Yeah.
I think I'm leaning Curtis here.
This is the easiest bet on the card for me. I want to keep it real with you guys, but go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, this fight is not that crazy to break down. It's either Sergei Pavlovich. Either Pavlovich is going to knock him out, or Curtis Blaydes is going to ground and pound him. Either way, I don't think this fight probably goes the distance. This is 5 rounds with 2 very dangerous heavyweights. I mean, I'll let you jump into this one. I'll let you go ahead.
Listen, like my brother said, this is the easiest fight to break down. This is the easiest fight to pick. I like Curtis Blaydes. He's a -170. I also like Curtis Blaydes by knockout. And here's why. Sergei Pavlovich, he's only been out of the first round, I think, a few times in his career, maybe once, which is crazy. And the only guys that have been able to stop Curtis Blaydes are guys with nuclear one-punch power, like Derek Lewis. His 3 losses on his record. One's Derek Lewis, who caught him with an uppercut coming in. If they fought again, they fought 9 times. They fought 10 times out of 10. Curtis probably beats him 9 times out of 10. And Francis Ngannou, who arguably is the best heavyweight on the planet right now. And by the way, a mountain of a man, pretty decent takedown defense, and hits like a Mack truck in both hands. First fight was a doctor stoppage. Second fight, clean hurt him, and then the referee jumped in to stop the fight because he wobbled him up. Sergei is not the puncher that Derek Lewis or Francis Ngannou is. He's just not.
I mean, maybe he is.
Look at the guy. Look how he's knocked dudes out, right? Like he knocked. Who is it? His last fight, he knocked Tai Tuivasa out, right?
Yeah.
He hit him with 1 shot, then he had to hit him with a barrage of shots. But Ty's not going to shoot on him. Ty's not going to test his wrestling. That's one. Ty's also much smaller than him. Derek Lewis fucked around and found out. You know what I'm saying?
Derek Lewis also not a grappler.
Not a grappler. Not
even remotely a grappler.
And once he gets hurt, he looks for the door. He's like, fuck this, I'm out.
And I love Derek Lewis.
I love him, but it's the truth. Shamil, who? Maurice Green. Marcelo Gomes.
Also, you could also argue that Derek Lewis fight was probably an early stoppage. A little bit of an early stoppage.
It was, but Derek was looking for the door. He gave his back.
He kind of was.
And by the way, guys, and here's another fun fact. Sergei's last loss was to Alistair Overeem, who took him down and controlled him.
Yeah,
and then stopped him with the punches. Like, Sergei looked like a fish out of water. He didn't know what to do once he was on his back. He looked like a turtle that got flipped on the top of its shell. He just, for me, and by the way, Alistair's a kickboxer. He's not a wrestler. By the way, also, Alistair is a training partner of Curtis Blaydes. So Alistair's already feeding to this guy, hey, this is what to expect. This is what he feels like. You know, this is how you win the fight. And Curtis is 10 times the wrestler that Alistair Overeem is. I think this is the easiest fight in the card to pick. I think Sergei hasn't shown me anything, and you want the real. If he doesn't have the nuclear power to stop Curtis Blaydes, and if he doesn't knock him out in the first round, what's he gonna look like?
True.
We don't know, and I'm gonna say at heavyweight, the way he throws punches, he's not gonna have gas for the first round. And after the first round, and if he does have gas after the first round, he's not gonna have enough gas to stop this man from taking him down and mauling him.
And I'm also gonna throw this point out, like, who does Sergei have out there? Who to like
replicate Curtis Blaydes?
Who can simulate what Curtis Blaydes is? I don't know. You can't simulate Curtis Blaydes.
You can't.
Because he is a gigantic man who can wrestle the shit out of you.
Yeah.
And there's nobody that big that can wrestle that good on the planet besides
Curtis Blaydes. And John Jones.
And possibly John Jones.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's it.
Unless he's training with John Jones.
Or maybe even Stipe. Let's not leave Stipe out of it here either.
Yeah, but he's not that big. Like,
no, he's not. He's not the same size of them. And same thing with DC, because DC can wrestle too, but DC's not the size of Curtis Blaydes.
Yeah. Curtis Blaydes is a big man.
He's a big dude, man. Yeah. And that's the thing. And by the way, doesn't get tired.
Who's been improving his striking, by the way. I don't think, it'd be silly for him to strike with Pavlovich and give him a way in, but he's been improving his striking, and I think he does. unless you have nuclear power, he's got a very decent chin.
He does.
For heavyweight, he'll take a shot or two, and that's all he really needs to take to get in. And you're right.
I just don't see it. I just don't see it for Sergei. And I know people are just pumping this guy, but unless he catches Curtis with the cleanest shot, it has to be a shot that puts him, that disconnects him.
And it's possible.
It can happen.
It is.
If it's heavyweight. But I think Curtis Blaydes is experienced. I think Curtis Blaydes has dealt with this before. I think he has dealt with a guy that knocked him out that he should have ran through in Derek Lewis. I don't think he makes this mistake again. I think Curtis Blaydes by execution. I really do. I think he gets him down. And I think he mauls him.
I think Curtis Blaydes knows what he's getting into in this fight.
Yep.
Payday.
All day.
Payday.
For this fight, this is the easiest fight in the card to bet, in my opinion, the main event. And I want to see it because it's
Oh, yeah, it's going to be great.
It's two elite heavyweights fighting, but I just don't know how Sergei's going to deal with his wrestling.
Ain't nothing like beefy, big men bumping meat. You know what I'm saying? Big, meaty men bumping meat.
Unless Sergei is going and talking to Alexander Volkov and talking to him how Curtis Blaydes felt and saying, like, how do I deal with this guy? But you want the real Volkov is not the wrestler that Curtis Blaydes is.
No, not at all.
Nobody I don't think on this planet is Curtis Blaydes.
No.
Unless they're an elite heavyweight wrestler.
Yeah, you have to lean Curtis Blaydes.
You have to lean
and
Curtis.
If he gets clapped, he gets clapped. But
yeah, I like Curtis by stoppage. I like the under in this fight. I like everything about this fight. I think Curtis Blaydes by execution. I think he elbows him. I don't think he elbows his face off. I really do.
yeah, probably.
And like I said, I think the fact that this man has been getting insulted by the UFC brass and not being given a title shot really bothers the shit out of me.
And he's been holding out. He's been just carefully like, listen, I want this title shot. I want this title shot. Carefully picking his fights here. He wanted that Chris Dawkins fight.
I don't even
think just to stun on him.
Just to stun on him. I don't even think he's carefully picking. I think they're trying to
not carefully picking, but you know what I'm saying? Like he's not going to just accept any crazy fight that's going to put his current status in jeopardy.
This fight makes sense.
Yeah.
This fight makes sense.
I think he knows that this is a winnable fight for him.
I mean,
he knows there's risk.
Every fight,
but
not named John Jones, in my opinion, is winnable for him.
Yeah.
Even Tom Aspinall, I think he beats him.
Yeah.
And that fight, listen, they could say, Tom blew his knee out.
It'd be nice to see Aspinall a little more before I could jump on you there. But I agree with you. I am currently leaning Curtis.
My man Curtis is lighting him up with that jab. Yeah. Easy work. You know what I'm saying? And I love Curtis Blaydes. I've been saying for a while, this is the only guy that can beat John Jones. And I mean it. He's the only one that can beat John Jones. And, it's unfortunate because I don't think we're going to see that fight because it sounds like John's going to retire after the Stipe fight.
Yeah. He's already saying,
he's writing his obituary.
Yeah, he's already like, hey, man, imagine me fighting Stipe at MSG for my retirement. Like, he literally threw that out there. So
it's unfortunate because I think this guy is the answer to the John Jones equation. I really do. I think he gives John Jones... if John Jones beat him, would I be surprised? No. But Curtis is live as fuck in that fight.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think... I think it's if that's what I'm already comparing him to, and I think that's the only guy that can really give him fits besides a guy that can hit with has nuclear weapons in his hands. Sergei hasn't shown me that he has one punch knockout power like that. He'll catch you with a big shot, then he'll stumble on you and drop the rest of them on you and pack you up.
That's all he really needs though too.
For sure.
If he can clip Curtis the right way. But I'm just gonna lean Curtis because I think Curtis,
even if
Curtis knows
even if he clips him, shoot on him.
Yeah,
he'll shoot on him. He's big enough to get him down. He just is, man.
Unless he puts him out.
Yeah, unless he puts him out. I just don't see it.
Yeah,
I don't see it. I could see it. It could happen. It could happen.
Yeah.
But I don't. I think Curtis is a beast, man. Yeah. I don't think he gets discussed enough in terms of the best heavyweights on the planet right now, and it really bothers me because it's
I agree with you. I feel like this is like
a disrespect fight.
This is easy. This is kind of an easy. I don't want to say easy because that sounds crazy, but it's one of the easier fights to pick on this card for sure.
No question. But yeah, just to wrap it up, guys, I think that's just about all.
Yeah, that's it. That's about all. That was the main event. That's UFC 71, UFC Vegas 71.
Ugh, that's these numbers get me.
It's
Yeah, no, but yeah, Curtis by execution. I think this is that's just to wrap it up, man. This guy is a beast. But listen, guys, love you guys. Tune in. Follow us, subscribe, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok.
Listen, and if you're watching on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, follow, hit the notification bell.
Yep, and for all you audio listeners, Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcast, you already know we love you. Give us a follow and a subscription on those buttons. Hit those buttons, man. Free of charge, free 99. You already know what it is.
Listen, bro.
Comment, like, and listen. We want you guys engaging us more because we want to have a questionnaire for you guys on these podcasts. We want to basically open the floor out to answer some of your questions. And, maybe we'll start putting more questions out there for you guys to answer, and then we'll put them on live and give you guys some shout outs on the podcast, man. So, but love you guys. Show us some love, man. We appreciate the hearts, thumbs ups, red button, subscription clicks, likes, all of it. Follows. You already know what it is, man. Give us some love. We continue to give you some love. Hope you guys love making money with us. Episode 10 in the books. Holla at your boys. Hugo the Boss, Hugo Got Denim, co-hosts.
Boogie, bro. Stay up.
I love it. Love the pause. Holla at y'all, man. Episode 10 in the books. Later.
Take it easy, y'all.